Well, way back when, I was an itty-bitty boy living in a box under the stairs in the corner of the basement of the house that was blocked down the street, Jerry's bait shop. You know the place. Anyways, life was just peachy, except for the one undeniable fact that every single morning my mother would give me a big old bowl of sauerkraut for breakfast. Man, a big bowl of sauerkraut every single morning. And it was driving me crazy. So one day I'm like, "Hey Ma, what's up with all the sauerkraut?" My dear sweet mother, she looks at me like a cow looks at an oncoming train. She leaned down next to me and said, "It's good for you." So she ties me in the basement, sticks a bowl in my mouth, and force feeds me nothing but sauerkraut until I'm 26 and a half years old. That's when I swore that someday I would escape from that basement to a magical faraway place where the sun is always shining, the air smells like warm root beer, and the cleaners and their lepers play the ukuleles all day long, and anyone on the street will gladly shave your back for a nickel. And waka waka doo doo, yeah. Anyways, it wasn't very long till my dream came true. The very next day there was a contest on the radio to see who could correctly guess the number of molecules in Leonard Neroy's butt. I was off by 3, but I still won the grand prize, which was a one-way first-class ticket to Albuquerque. And well, I'd never been on a plane before, but it was really swell. Except for the fact that I was sitting between 2 large Albanian women with excruciatingly severe body odor, and the kid in back of me kept throwing up the whole time. The flight attendant ran out of Dr. Pepper and salted peanut. The in-flight movie was Biodome with Pauly Shore. Oh yeah, 3 of the airplane engines burned out. We went into a tailspin and crashed into a hillside, and the plane exploded in a giant fireball, and everybody died. Except for me. You know why? Because I had my tray table up, and my seat back in the full upright position, had my tray table up. And my seat back in the full upright position, had my tray table up. And my seat back in the full upright position. So anyways, I crawled from the twisted burning wreckage. I crawled on my hands and knees for 3 full days, carrying my leather suitcase, my garment bag, my tenor saxophone, my 12-pound bowling ball, and my lucky glow-in-the-dark autographed snorkel. Until I finally arrived at the world-famous Albuquerque Holiday Inn, where the towels are oh so fluffy. You can eat your soup right out of the ashtrays if you want to. It's okay, they're clean. So I check into my room and I turn on the TV and I turn down the AC and turn on the Spectavision, and I'm about to eat that chocolate mint on my pillow that I love so very, very much. When suddenly there's a knock at the door. I say, "Who is it?" No answer. "Who is it?" There's no answer. I say, "Who is it?" They're not saying anything. So I go over and I open up the door, and just as I suspected, it's some big fat hermaphrodite with a flock of seagulls haircut and only 1 nostril. Man, I hate it when I'm right. So he bursts in and he grabs my lucky snorkel, and I'm like, "Hey, you can't have that. That snorkel's just like a snorkel to me." And he's like, "Tough." And I'm like, "Give it." He's like, "Make me." And I'm like, "Okay." So I grabbed his leg and he grabbed my esophagus, so I chewed off his ear and he bit off my eyebrows. He took out my appendix and I gave him a colonic irrigation. Yes indeed, you better believe it. And somewhere in the middle of it all, the phone got knocked off the hook. 20 seconds later, I heard a familiar voice. You know what it said? I'll tell you what it said. It said, "If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again." Then hang up and then dial your operator. If you'd like to make a call, please hang up and try again. If you need help, hang up and then dial your operator. Well, anyways, to cut a long story short, he got away. And that's when I swore that someday, no, that I would not rest. I would not sleep for an instant until the one-nostriled man was brought to justice. But first, I decided to have some donuts. So I got in my car, drove across the street to the local donut shop, walked up to the guy behind the counter, and he said, "Yeah, what do you want?" And I said, "You got any glazed donuts?" He said, "No, we're out of glazed donuts." I said, "You got any jelly donuts?" He said, "No, we're out of jelly donuts." I'm like, "You got any Bavarian cream-filled donuts?" He's like, "No, we're out of Bavarian cream-filled donuts." And I'm like, "You got any cinnamon rolls?" And he's like, "No, we're out of cinnamon rolls." And I'm like, "You got any apple fritters?" And he's like, "No, we're out of apple fritters." And I'm like, "You got any bear claws?" And he's like, "Wait a minute, I'll go check." "No, we're out of bear claws." So I'm like, in that case, what do you have? He's like, "Man, all I got right now is this box of 12 starving crazed weasels." So I'm like, "Okay, I'll take that." So he hands me the box, I open up the lid, and immediately the weasels start lashing out in my face, start biting me all over. Man, they were eating me up. And I think it was about that time that a little ditty started going through my head. And I think it went a little something like this. Get off! Get off! Leave me up! So, anyways, I run out into the parking lot and I'm running around like a constipated wiener dog. When as luck would have it, that's when I met the girl of my dreams. Her name was Zelda. She was a calligraphy enthusiast with a slide over bite and the hair the color of strained peaches. I'll never forget the first thing she said to me. She said, "Hey, you've got weasels on your face." Man, it was true love. After that, we were inseparable. We bathed together, we ate together, we even shared the same piece of mint-flavored dental floss. The world was our burrito. So, we got married and had 2 beautiful children, Nathaniel and Superfly. And well, we were so very, very happy. Until one fateful night, when Zelda leaned over to me and she said, "Honey Pumpkin, would you like to join the Columbia Records Club?" And I'm like, "Whoa, hold on now, baby. I'm just not ready for that kind of a commitment." So we broke up and I never saw her again. That's just the way things go in Albuquerque. Well, a couple weeks later, things really started looking up for me, because I finally fulfilled my lifelong dream. That's right, I got a part-time job at the Sizzler. And I even made Employee of the Month after I put out that grease fire with my face. Yeah, everybody's pretty jealous of me after that. I was getting a lot of attitude. Like I was out in the parking lot trying to move some excess earwax with a golf pencil, and I see this guy Marty trying to carry a sofa up the stairs by himself, and I'm like, "Hey, you want me to give you a hand with that?" And he's like, "No, I want you to cut off my arms and legs with a chainsaw." So I did. And after that, he gets all indignant on me. He's like, "Hey man, I was just being sarcastic." And I'm like, "Oh great, how was I supposed to know that? I'm not a mind reader, you know. Besides, what's he got to complain about? Now he's got a really cute nickname, Torso Boy." Hey, that reminds me of another really funny anecdote. This guy walks up to me on the street and says he had a bite in 3 days. I knew what he meant, but just to be funny, I took a huge bite out of his jugular vein. He starts bleeding and screaming and rolling around on the ground. And I'm like, "Hey man, don't you get it?" He's just bleeding and blood's going everywhere and just rolling around, completely missing the irony of the whole situation. But he's just like bleeding and... Hold on a second, I forgot where I was going with that. Lost my train of thought. Oh well, I guess all I'm really trying to say, I guess this is really just my roundabout way of saying that I hate sauerkraut. Like, I think that's really all I'm trying to say. So, if one day you wake up and you're trying to find the point in your meaningless existence, take point in the fact of knowing that there's a magical place out there called Albuquerque. I'm talking A-L-B-A... Kirky.